My name is Frank Patrick, and I've been here since the year 2000. 20 years I've been working here, and I've really never missed a day of work. I'm here every day except Saturday and Sunday. I think I'm a different breed because I love working. This is what I do. I have no problem coming here in the morning, regardless of what time that I have to be here or how late I have to stay. They can ask me to do anything, and I'd be glad to, because that's the way I was brought up. When I was a little boy, I learned how to work. And I learned basically how to work in the cotton fields at a real young age. And I used to go to the cotton fields with my uncles years ago, and I was riding on the cotton sack. They would drag me around, that was my little wagon. And I'm watching them. And they was going through those cotton fields singing and dancing. And I was looking at them so hard until at that particular age, I'm gonna say like three and a half, maybe even 4 years old, I was looking how they was picking that cotton and having fun. And primarily, that's what I wanted to be at that particular time, was a cotton picker, because it looked like it was fun to me. The first time I went up to the scale to weigh my first bag of cotton, I made 15 cents. But that was a lot of money to me then. I had to be at least, I'm gonna say 6 or 7 years old. And they weighed my cotton. I thought I had picked a lot. But compared with those long cotton sacks that my uncle was carrying, I didn't even touch what they had picked. But I did make 15 cents with my first bag of cotton. So as the years passed by, like I say, I was a waiter in California, waited tables and so forth, busboy too at that time, but I waited tables, and I went to a factory and I worked there for a couple of years because waiting tables was like a split shift, and I kind of wanted to be off at night. And it just so happened that a friend of mine came by one time and told me that this construction company that he was working for was hiring. And I'm like, oh yeah? So at the factory, I was making $75 a week. Not a day, but a week, $75. I'm laughing about that because, for the simple reason, when I started to work there, the man told me he wasn't hiring. I'm like, you know, I need a job, real bad. He said, well, I'm not hiring. But that particular day, they was pouring thousands and thousands of yards of concrete. And I told him, I said, you know what, you're pouring all this concrete, and any time that you're pouring this kind of concrete, you need help. So he scratched his head. I told him, I said, well, you know what, I'll work for free today. You don't even have to pay me. He said, what? I said, yep, I'll work for free. I said, just let me show you what I can do. So I guess he must have thought I was out of my mind, but I needed a job, real bad. He said, okay. So I said, well, where do you keep your tools at, like shovels and concrete boots that you work there? He said, I don't have any boots right now. I said, well, do you have a shovel? He said, yes. I said, well, I tell you what, where is it at? He said, it's over in the shed. I said, well, I'll go get that shovel. He said, okay, well, when you get the shovel, just go on up on the next deck because that's where they're pouring. I said, all right. But I started with the concrete. They was pouring concrete, and I had the shovel. Didn't know anyone up there. First time I had seen some of those guys ever. And I had told my friend I didn't know anything about construction work, and he told me, he said, well, you know how to work, don't you? I said, oh yeah, I know how to work, no doubt. So I started shoveling that concrete, and I had no idea that the superintendent was standing behind one of those columns watching me. And around about like 12 o'clock, he called me over, because we started that morning and we were still pouring concrete. But he called me over and he said, Frank, he says, you said I didn't have to pay you for the day. I said, that's right. He said, well, I tell you what. He said, you got the job. He said, you come back Monday and start to work. I said, okay. Even if it rained, I never missed no work. I never missed a day of work. I never called in saying I'm sick, I can't come to work. So I worked for this man for 19 years. And which, like I say, like right now, that's been a long, long time ago. And I don't know if he's still alive. like me, because in 3 months I'll be 83 years old, and I'm still working. So I went on and worked for another company, and I only had a few more years to go, and I retired, and my thing was to never work again. And so I stayed home for about like 6 months, not working, just staying around the house, not really doing anything, maybe taking my wife to the doctor or something like that, or she had an appointment. So anyway, we moved here, sold our house and moved here to Arizona. And we've been here ever since, like 20 years now. And I said, well, let me go by and try to find me a job somewhere. And I got this job right here at Bell Ford. And I've been here like now 20 years. I'm not leaving. And unless they say, Frank, it's time to leave. But they're gonna have to drag me out of here, because I ain't going nowhere. But anyway, I've been here, and the people are very nice, Mr. Burge. Some of the other managers that's in charge here, they've all been nice. And you talk about family, this is the only place that I can think of where they treat you like family, like one of their relatives. And I love that. And I could go on and on and on. I'm still here, and everybody's wondering why you're still working. Well, for me, that's my medicine, is work. I had to sit down and kind of analyze myself. And I have 2 sons, Frankie and Christian. And when Christian was 3 years old, my wife asked if it was okay if I brought Frankie by here while she helped out at the school. I said, yeah, sure, bring him on. So Frankie came out here with me. Here he was 3 years old. And my boss, maybe he should have said, well, he can't be on the job site, but he didn't. And I appreciate that, because you don't get that all the time. So I brought Frankie back there where I work, and he was still learning his colors, the black, white, green, red. Because I used to, as I'm driving, I used to ask him, Frankie, what color is that car passing right there? And then the idea came to me, is to walk him down the aisles where we have all the cars and trucks and all different colors. So I started walking him down the aisle, and I would question him, what color is that car? What color is this car? What color is that car? And he would say, well, that's green, that's black, that's red, Daddy. I said, okay, you're doing good. Just remember that now, you know. So one day I decided to take him back there where I was cleaning cars and washing them and so forth. And so I said, Frankie, I'm gonna teach you how to wash cars. He said, you know, one of these days, you're gonna have to get up and go to work somewhere, doing something for the rest of your life. So you come on, go with me. And I took him back there and showed him basically the bottom line as far as basics on washing cars, cleaning cars. And that's when we had the pressure washer, that you clean the car first before you even run them through the washer. You take and pressure wash them, the tires and around the car and the windows and everything like that. So I said, but hold that pressure washer with 2 hands. By the time he had turned, I guess, 4 years old. And he started washing cars, and he would come back, Daddy, I'm finished. What can I do next? I said, you finished with it already? He said, yeah, but Daddy, I can't reach the windows. That's how little he was. So I told him, don't worry about the windows. Just wash around the cars, wash up under the cars, wash up under the wheels, and I'll go send you to do something else after that. And everybody said, man, you got the little boy working? I said, yep. I said, that's how I started. And I said, I want him to learn how to work like right now. So whatever he decides that he wants to be or whatever, at least he'll take a work habit with him. Wherever he goes, he'll know how to work. So anyway, he stayed here with me 2 weeks. And then my wife started bringing him out here just when she's passing by or something like that. And the first thing Frankie would ask me, Daddy, what can I help you with? What can I do? I said, well, and I started looking around for something for him to do. But when he did get his driver's license, I would have him to move cars for me that I had finished, park cars and so forth, and he would take off running. So happy, you know, just to be helping. Until this day, he still tells me, and he's 24 years old now, he just turned 24. He still tells me, Dad, thank you. Thank you for working so hard for us. But he's studying to become a doctor now. And I never could see that far. I went to his graduation, and he graduated from one of the schools up around Washington, Gonzaga. And I had never been on a plane in my life. And it was just one of those things, just to see my son graduate from college. But, you know, it's just one of those things. I think I was the last one to leave the auditorium. And I just couldn't believe it. And he graduated, and he has like another 5 years now, and he'll be a doctor. I have one other son, he's Christian. Sometimes brothers, they grow up together, and they're a little bit different from the other one, just a little bit. But Christian, I have to say too that he's an athlete, a natural athlete. I used to come home at night, and my youngest one, he would always have some kind of ball in his hand. Baseball, football, basketball. And he turned out to be a real good basketball player. And I used to ask him, after I found out that Frankie wanted to be a doctor, I said, Christian, what do you want to be when you grow up? He said, oh, nothing, Dad. I said, oh yeah, you're gonna be something. I don't know what, but you're gonna be something. And he's playing basketball, he's on the team. The coach calls him, wanted to play football. And he hasn't played football yet. I don't know what he'll do with this last season except for play basketball. But he has natural talent, natural gifts. And I can remember when Christian, he must have been like 2 years old. I came home one day and my wife told me, look over there, Christian. I said, what? He's doing pull-ups on the Stairmaster. I said, what? I turned around and look, and here he is, 2 years old. That's gift, that's talent. That's something that you can't teach. But he was doing pull-ups. And I'm like, man, I better take him down to the playground and put him on the monkey bars and lift him up there and see if he can do them there. So that's what I did. I took my little baby boy and down to the playgrounds there and lifted him up on the bars. I said, now do them. And there he goes with his pull-ups. I'm like, all right then, 2 years old. And I can remember, one day we were just sitting in the living room and I was sitting in my chair, and he came sit down right at my chair, but turned where he could tuck his feet up under the chair. And he's huffing and puffing. I said, why are you huffing and puffing? He said, Dad, I'm doing setups. Now here he is, 2 years old. He said, I'm doing setups. I said, well, how many have you did already? He said, 30. I said, then that's enough. He said, no, Dad, I got to do some more. It's okay, go ahead. You know, you do them till you get tired.
We also heard that you like to sing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have any favorites?
Oh, I have a lot of favorites. But I started writing songs, too. And I'll sing maybe 1 or 2 songs for you guys.
Oh, that would be good.
So you can take it and think about it. And, you know, you may need me to sing somewhere else, I don't know. But one of my favorite songs is about Belfort. And it goes like this here. B-E-L-L-F-O-R-D. Belfort, you mean so much to me. I can remember 20 years ago, y'all, when I first got this job. It made me the happiest man in the whole wide world. I thank God, Mr. Spencer and Mr. Byrd, for giving me this job. I went home, y'all. I got down on my knees and I cried all night long. I could hear my kids in the bathroom saying, Mommy, why is Daddy crying? But they didn't know I was so happy I could buy them new shoes and clothes to wear to church and school. And I always wanted me a good job. Hey.